Hello and welcome. So, a little bit later than a normal Thursday live stream, just popping on to give some updates about my reading and where things are at. Thankfully, the dental nightmare is finally over. I was out this morning. Yes, a different dentist, so I didn't have to wait until the 23rd. And the tooth is out, the freezing's now out, and it's all still good. I can talk normally. It'll be a day or two before I can use a straw again. Hey, Noah, welcome. So I've got my glass without the straw, but at least I can talk normally. So, woohoo! Okay, so in terms of, oh yeah, see, I didn't do my normal. So thank you to everyone who can join me while I'm live. And thank you to Team Rewatch. Well, my dental nightmare has been going on. And, I've kind of put parts of it in my community post. So I'd gone on the 2nd of April, had an appointment. April 23rd was going to be the earliest they could get me in, even though they knew the tooth was infected and things needed to be done. Initially, they wanted to do a root canal, try and save the tooth. But I also have TMJ, which means keeping my jaw open for a while is problematic. So I had changed the appointment to a tooth extraction, but then it turns out there's a dentist here on my side of the city. I called yesterday. Hey, Nicole. And I got in first thing this morning. So, woohoo, the dental nightmare is done. Nicole, I owe you a response to your email, and yay, now that this is taken care of, it means I can get back to regular live streams again. Hey, Jenny. So, oh, you have TM. See, we have a few TMJ buddies because Leslie also has TMJ, actually. So let's see, there's me, there's Nicole, there's Leslie, and Jack from Spread Book Joy. So yeah, I didn't even know until this whole dental nightmare thing started back in October. Jeez, that's a week or two. Oh, still at work. Okay, well, thanks for joining in, Jenny. But yeah, I didn't even know until October about TMJ. I mean, off and on over the decades, I've had problems, and this past summer, because I love me some corn on the cob, but yeah, it seems that is a thing of the past, because as soon as I'd go to bite on the cob, my jaw would seize up. It was like so crazy. But woohoo, I didn't have to have sleep dentistry. I had this amazing dentist. The assistant was amazing. The receptionists were amazing. It was just an all around awesome deal. Got the tooth out, and my jaw is still working. So, yeehaw. Come join the chaos. Had early shifts. Yikers. Oh, so we may or may not see you tonight, hon. Sad time. And I'm just here. I'm going to pop you on here, Noah. Sad times, long as you're looking after yourself. Exactly. How many books are you up to? The big question of the day. Glad everything's sorted out. Well, thank you. And I hope your stuff is getting sorted out as well. My dental dealio's done. Yep, toothy pulled, jump back. Yeah, I'm happy too. I mean, I'm going to be on antibiotics for a few more days, probably another week, because there's still an infection in there. And it's going to, hey, cat. And as bad as it sounds, yeah, after he pulled the tooth, he could see there's still infection on the jawbone. So he did a little bit of scraping, and we all had some chuckles because once I opened my mouth, he's like, well, okay, you can close for a little bit. And I'm like, not risking that, that I can't open it again. So we're just going to get this all done right now. And thankfully it did. Bless his heart. He held the gauze there in between them getting back to scraping, but whoop, whoop. The freezing's done. I'm not wanting to slam my head into the wall in pain. A few more days, the infection will be gone. And yes, I have been, for those who know what it is, I've been doing Reiki, which is energy healing. And I don't know if that made a difference through the appointment or not, but I'm good with it not being a problem, because the last place I went to, even when they did the x-ray, it was brutal. Okay, so Jenny, 199 on my Kindle. Ooh, 2 physical coming tomorrow. We need to know what those physical books are, Jenny. Okay. Now, what was I going to chat about? Well, I've talked about and yes, I do have notes. Talked about my dental nightmare. Yes. So hopefully I have replied to, oh, hey, Van. No, it wouldn't have notified you. I just hopped on. So there was no notification time. I just didn't have it in advance. Decided I was just coming on. The jaw's good, so I'll be bibbling for a little bit. If I've missed any replies, I'm just going to apologize now. I've been trying to keep up with when I get replies on other channels, and when I get replies to my own comments. Sometimes YouTube will let me know that. Sometimes they don't. As I found out, there were some for like weeks ago. And I'm just, don't forget tomorrow. Oh, okay, that must be between Noah and Ven. Something tomorrow at 1 p.m. Nope, not new glasses. I have 2 pairs that I wear. This one I wear when I'm live streaming so I can read, because they're my distance ones. And then I've got the purple ones that are no glare that I usually do for recording my videos, because I'm reading close up. Oh, it's a secret. Well, then. Yeah, see, even Kat wants to know. Letter for the King. It's sequel. Oh, so I'm going to put up, these are Jenny's physical books. Letter for the King and its sequel, Secret of the Wildwood by Tonk Dragged, perhaps? Interesting. Those I do not know, so we'll have to wait and see what Jenny knows. So these 2 gremlins are up to something at 1 p.m. tomorrow, apparently. Oh, there you go. Kat wants to know, Jenny, are they cover buys? Trying to decide what to read next. Well, I have a few. Trude, you know what curiosity does to cats. Yes, but satisfaction brings them back. And actually, just a sec, I got to grab a sheet of paper because I did start my ACOTAR video a couple days ago. And Nicole, if you're still here, you will appreciate this in terms of enunciating things or pronouncing and the Celts and the different languages. And Noah, I'm understanding why you keep calling the one sister my name, which is spelled this way. Because according to AI and a couple of fan pages I noticed, they give the pronunciation as a lane. And it's cheesing me off. Every time I think there's nothing else that I'm going to blow my ponytail off with this series, something else gets me. So I am putting this in my videos. I'm going to put it up here and give me your thoughts. Ooh, Akatar time. And then you let me know what you think about this name, because, and no, I'm not giving any spoilers, but no, I know you've read a few of the books, so you're very familiar with all the different names and the characters. So to me, I think they are pronounced all as in English. You know, like we've got Feyre, we've got Rysand, those all follow English pronunciation. Now, here's why this is a bugaboo for me, and not just because it's my name and I don't want people calling that middle sister my name, because it's spelt without the E, and I had lots of people constantly spelling my name wrong. But here's the other thing, and yes, there are rules in English. There's a ton of exceptions, but there's rules. So here's the example I'm using in my videos and using here. In English, when you have a word without an E on the end, it's a short vowel sound. When you add the E on the end, it becomes long. With these names, there's no E at the end. When two vowels are walking, the first one does the talking, so this one should be short, lan, not lane. This one is E lane, E at the end, long A. So even the AI gave the wrong thing. I don't know where Sarah J. Maas stands on it, but to me, it is not pronounced Elaine. You better not be saying I'm saying lies and slander, you little gremlin. And what are you offended by? Ah, I see. Ven, are you bugging him again? And yeah, I want to know what that is too, but you have to, oh, no, that can't be it. Lovely gremlin. Oh, what have we, oh, hang on. I got to move the murder bush. People are being mean. Is it Ven? Because, you know, whoa, you didn't show up for the premiere. Well, hey, dude still hasn't congratulated me on 3 years. So, like, seriously, Ven, whatever. He shows up to most of your premieres anyways. I didn't even get a congratulations. Oh, no. Thank you. Okay, now Noah is back out of the gremlin house. He did thank me on 3 years, even though he didn't come to my live stream, even though he didn't send me a message on Voxer. I was at the premiere of the author one. Yeah, see, to be fair, Ven, you've had 2 premieres this week. So, like, seriously. Okay, so I've apologized for my late replies. I do owe a few people emails. Ooh, Kat, yes, I owe you an email, and I owe Nicole an email response. Oh, why are you hiding, Noah? Who did you piss off now? Revenge through video games. All right, what else do I have? Oh, yes, And Ven was like, how is this possible? Because we were Voxering the other day. So I finally cleared off my phone because I had too many pictures on it and it wouldn't let me take videos anymore because of space. And it turns out I had 1,100 pictures, well, combination of pictures and videos. So that's like outside the kids, the yard, all of that stuff. So yes, I had to clean 1,100 items off of my phone. And no, that's not the first time. This is like a regular, happens every few months with me. And at least yesterday, after I'd made the appointment for the dentist and everything else, I got all of those pictures sorted and into folders. So I've got my sleepy cats and my kitty takeout pictures and my yard videos from, actually, yeah, I guess it's been a while because a lot of them were from 2024. And then all the yard stuff from this year. So, yeah. Let me know if you've got like a crazy amount of photos. Like when I used to use a regular camera with film and you had to get it developed, I was a lot more careful about what I would take pictures of. Now I'm like snap, 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 because it's like so easy. And then I have to get it off my phone because there's like way too many of them. I need to sort it. Hey, Ellen, how are you? Alan, you're on tonight, right? I do believe. And I'm just, okay, have I missed anything in chat okay, so Jenny's already read some by the author. About to run into that on my phone. Uh-oh, may need a new phone. Yeah, see, and I find it's hard because you're just, it's easy, point, click, and then suddenly you have a bunch of pictures. Fancy fantasy. Hey, bud. Thank you, Noah. Love being appreciated. Yeah, and I don't know what the picture's going to be because when you just quick go live, it doesn't have a thumbnail picture. So, okay. Noah, you got to get out and about, dude. You can't just permanently hide. I can because I don't drive, but at least I go out on the weekends. So good. Gareth and Dave's. Okay, 3 p.m. your time, 6 p.m. my time, and I think it's midnight in Hey! And there's Gareth. His ears were ringing. Hey, Gareth. Yes, I just quick popped on because I had my dental work this morning, but my mouth is working, and woohoo! I decided to come on. Everyone's saying hello to everyone, which I love. It's great. That's right. Nicole's telling you, Noah, walk around the block. Come on. Ken, watch me. Don't watch me. Ken and Will. Just being difficult. Waiting for my Indian takeaway. Thought I'd check in. Awesome. Yeah, we usually do takeout on Thursdays. It's been our treat for decades, but I got to eat soft food tonight, so that's no fun with takeout. Have something easy, and actually on Saturday I'll be meeting a former coworker of mine. I hadn't heard from her in years. She just out of the blue called me the other day. And I can't believe she's been retired for 20 years. It seems crazy. But yeah, we're going to be doing lunch on Saturday. So excited. Most desserts are soft. Very true. And I still have some cheesecake to finish because my lovely husband picked some up the other day again. So, yep, I have some cheesecake. Oh, it's been a saga since October, Gareth, but it's finally done. Hey, Gavin, nice to see you. Oh, yeah, and I'm not sure because I did my first tag, my dragon book tag. So a big thank you to Kat and Gavin who have done that. I know I've tagged a bunch of people and it's always hard to get to different ones. Kat, I am going to be doing the belly dance dragon style book tag. And now that my mouth is fixed, woohoo, I'll be able to do that and talk normally. Nicole, way behind on tags. Yeah, me too. And I have, I think, one or two that Gavin has tagged me in. Noah, I know you've tagged me, and Leslie did on the spring one I still need to do. Been tagged on the dragon. Do it, still trying to think of my answers. And do remember, it doesn't have to be dragon books. And I may have worded that a bit, awkward in it. I just used the dragon books because it was a great way to demonstrate how I use books into everyday life. But really, the answers for it don't have to be anything with dragons. It's more the questions of, you know, so smog was about shiny or gold. So any shiny gold books that you have, that type of thing. Yeah, we'll see how it goes, Kat, because my moves will not be as slick as yours. And if you haven't seen Kat's belly dance original tag, or Alan. Alan did an amazing job with it. Dave, I've also seen do it. Book Blather, Olive was hilarious, sitting in the chair like, what are you doing? Watching him. And Riley was so precious. She was at the kitchen door looking in the room like, man, am I ever glad I'm not doing this. And Riley goes walking off. The tags are fun, but yeah, it you can end up getting behind on them for sure. I did see your clean slate tag, Alan. I checked. No, you didn't tag me, but I might end up doing that. I need to figure out which tags I still need to do and then get that one done. I like that one. And actually, that was a good question about booktubers. And, sometimes people get frustrated or they just leave. And, what advice do you have? And I mean, I waffle back and forth. Sometimes it's like, oh, it would be so much easier to just go back to being a viewer and keep up on videos that way. But I'm still having fun and I want to talk about books and I love interacting with viewers and getting to meet other people and do live streams. So, I'm going to be around for a while. Ooh, Gareth, I filmed 3 videos today. None of them were tags. Ooh, filmed at the beach. Looking forward to those. Ooh, forgot about the tag. Jump onto that soon. Nicole is going to hydrate. Your tag was amazing, Alan. There's nothing to be embarrassed about. And I'm looking forward to learning about all your tats today. That's going to be amazing. Dave set a high bar. Yes, he did. And Alan did an amazing job too. I mean, they both did great with it. 3 minutes long, lovely day. Oh, nice. Thought I'd nip down before sunset. So there'll be some nice views there. And yes, if you have not yet been over to see Gareth's trip to Bosnia and Croatia, definitely go check that out. Lost track. Oh, take care. Thanks for popping in, Nicole. This cat thanks, embarrassed by some of the peeps I tagged in England. You know what? Like, tagging people is good, and they can choose or not choose to do it. My pleasure, Gareth. It was, see, I travel via YouTube. I let all you folks go do the traveling, and then I get to enjoy the videos, which is amazing. But yeah, and I did mention in my comments, and I think I did through our Voxer message as well. The one public school I worked at, it was cool actually, and I didn't mention this in the commenter, that one of our English as a second language teachers did a survey throughout the whole school to find out how many different countries were represented in the building. This was about, I think, 15 or so. God, I feel old sometimes. 15 or so years ago, when I was at that public school before I moved up to the high school to work. And we had over 50 different countries represented. And yeah, a number of our kids there were from Bosnia and Croatia, Kosovo, and a number of other countries. And some came from refugee camps, but it was amazing. We never had issues in the building in terms of what country people came from. They were friends. It was good. I mean, we had regular issues between students, but it had nothing to do with where they came from. And that was amazing. So I really enjoyed your video, Gareth, because it gave me a chance to see a bit of that country. And I know some of the stories the kids had shared. So it was neat to see a little bit of their country and where they came from. Kat, you're only old if you admit it. I'm 3 most days. No point being an adult if I can't have my fireworks. There is that. Most days I'd say most days I don't feel old. Some days I feel 80 or 90, and yeah, other days I still feel about, no, maybe 9 or 10. I can be a bit mischievous. Yeah, see? Me too. Alan, I travel vicariously through Gareth, Brian, and Greg. That's right, between their I'm looking big boat cruises and traveling, and Mark from Book Ramble, who is going to be on Monday, April 28th, so it's going to be a different day, but accommodating Mark. He's in New Zealand. And if you haven't checked out Book Ramble, he has amazing, amazing footage of his beautiful country. And I mean, the color of the water and just the landscape. I mean, if you're a Lord of the Ring fan, yeah, definitely between the books that he reads and the amazing countryside. And that's why I love also following Dan from World of Mr. Gray, not just because he's a debunker, but he also shares footage from South Wales, and he goes out on walks and things, and it's just gorgeous. Hey, Gareth's birthday is May the 28th. Oops. Okay, so I'm wrong. Thank you, Gareth. It's April the 28th. Really, I didn't take a ton of meds, but it's Monday, April 28th, when I'm going to be talking to Mark. But happy early birthday, Gareth. That's cool. Same, can't afford to travel, but I enjoy picture. And yeah, I'm the same, Kat. It's I'm not sure if I would I'm a homebody. I always like home, but I love hearing about other people's travels. Take care, Alan. Thanks so much for popping in. And yep, we'll see you in a few hours. Love to go to New Zealand. Yeah, it is such a beautiful country. Like, just wow. Cat, also serious bucket list. saying bye to Alan. No, it probably was me saying it wrong, Gareth. Every now and again, I'm like, what? But yeah, so a lot of exciting things. And now, like I say, that this whole dental saga is behind me, I'll be reaching out to people to start booking for the live streams because they're going to start being regular on Thursdays again. I think, Gareth, I just left on your video. Yes, your belief. Why do I always get stumped on this? There we go. Belief and Behavior Book Club. And hey, Constance, if you don't know about that, be sure to head over to Book Songs and Other Magic. Gareth just did an update video about that. And I do have some books that I'm going to be reading for that. Actually, this month, even though, Gareth, I know that, and I didn't get to the fairy tale books, sorry. Okay, let me finish that point before I go to the talking about Gareth's book club in detail. Yeah, I don't know about everybody else this year, but my reading is like off the rails. And not in a good way. I mean, I set my Goodreads goal at 25 and I still haven't reached it. And we're in frickin' April. Like, that's just so sad. I mean, by now, I would have hit that by early March. And I'm still, I think, 3 or 4 books away. So, I mean, I'm going to get there soon, but I'm way behind. And even books that I'm loving are taking me mondo longer to read than I expected. I don't know. I think for me it's been a combination of dental stuff and life stuff and just, you know, all over the place. So I need to get on Goodreads. I haven't kept any of that up at all this year. I've been learning a bit about Storygraph, but I mean, they both have good things, but I don't like the way Goodreads runs messages. It takes forever to try and keep up with the conversation there. And Storygraph, it shows you things differently than it does on Goodreads. And on Goodreads, you only have to click once to do your start and finish date for the book, but you have to do that 2 separate entries on Storygraph. So it's like anything, good and bad. But yeah, I need to get back to that. So yeah, Gareth saying with his book club, continuing loose set of deadlines, which is great. Totally relate. Great January. Been struggling since. Yeah, I think I've noticed and heard a number of booktubers saying it, and I've seen it in comments. Kat, same. Reading Lestat for 2 weeks, almost 100 to go. Think I've read 10 in 3 days. Yeah, I'm almost done Lestat. Here it is. Where am I here? I'm up to page 469 and finishes on 559. So we're close. Now, granted, I've done a bit of skimming because I just read Lestat. We're in April now. March, we read Interview. So February, I had borrowed this from the library. But I'm still, I've got my little tabs. Don't know if Noah's there, but yes, Noah, there is also color in the book. Sorry, dude. It's just how I interact with my reading. So I will be done this soon. And let me catch up with comments before Ven caught up. Been aiming for half of what I read last year. Yeah, I think we're all kind of doing that. Made pages, listening hours, and books read target. Nice. Always hitting one of them. Yeah, see, I really don't do audio books much. It's very rare for me to do audio. Um, and yes, Noah, I'm going to say this just for you. I am so glad I did not do the rest of Akatar by audio because unlike, excuse me, unlike books where I can just flip over, the 10 pages of Boom Chicka Wawa, in audio, you have no idea. So you have to keep listening. And I'm like, whoa, I don't want to listen. Prefer Goodreads could be my confession. Oh, there you go for the confessions tag. Yeah, I mean, I just started Storygraph this year because a lot of people were talking about it, and I just have to remember to log in. But I really do, in terms of seeing things at a glance and totals and the stats, I do like on Goodreads because you can see they've got a nice thing of the years that all your books are and that type of thing. So, yeah, I have to admit, I probably do. And part of it's because I'm just not familiar with Storygraph. But I'm not big on counting the number of pages or really breaking things like that down. So there's that. Wheel of Time's helping the hours. Yeah, no kidding. Books 1 to 4 make up more than half. Yeah, no doubt. And they might be, yeah, I'm reading. I did finish book 1 and 2. Haven't quite started 3 yet. Not sure when I will. Cat, planning to knock off at least all my ancient mixed in with my old shelves, TBR. Half the ones I finished were DNF. Uh-oh, still have most of them. It's end half of April. Yeah, there's actually 2 DNFs I have, which I'm surprised for me, but they didn't work. Think I'm around 47 out of 48 so far. Usually start strong, get distracted later in the year. That's really good though, Jenny. Like I say, I'm not even at my 25 yet. Getting there. Learning to enjoy audio. Okay, great, Constance. I've always loved selected shorts. Heard a great episode today on their YouTube channel. Nice. Fantastic story from Uncanny Magazine. Okay, cool. Yeah, and it's nice there's so many different things and options out there for sure. Okay, so before I get way too far off, see, this is why it's a good thing I have notes in front of me. Now, in terms of my reading, I did already mention the Celtophile. I put up my reads for that. So glad Nicole had that in March. That definitely helped with my reading, or I'd probably be so much farther behind. It was awesome being a co-host along with Philip Hall and Margaret and joining Nicole, the creator. That was awesome. Okay. Happy lurking, Ven. Gonna lurk, child ready for bed. Banished. So nice. You're not gonna read him a bedtime story, just banish him. Feel like as long as I can say I've done something for people, April, I'm happy. Nice. Kat also struggles with audiobooks, trying to get the Andy Serkis Lord of the Ring narration. Yeah, hold is like 8 months. Yeah, that doesn't surprise me because it would be quite popular, which reminds me, I need to cancel my audio hold for Silver Flames because the book in hand incredibly came through before the audio. So, yeah, I need to get into my library account and cancel that. Actually, so I'm going to talk about this first. before I talk about your book club, Gareth. So it was interesting. Silver Flames, I waited months for the physical copy to come in. Quick read it. I've got a bit of my video done for that because I wanted to have the book in hand. And I didn't hold it most of the time because it's like frickin' 751 pages. It's a massive doorstop. But it was actually, I'm going to say, without giving spoilers, book 1 and book 4, I actually didn't mind in that series. It was book 2, 3, and 3.5 I could have done without. But I have to get Silver Flames back to the library. Now, the funny thing is, before Silver Flames came in, I started reading In Darwin's Shadow. This is about Alfred Russel Wallace. Oops, sorry about the glare there. He worked on the theory of evolution with Darwin. Wallace also comes up with parapsychology and the society in England that started, psychic society that started, and that's part of why Wallace got pushed to the side, because he was looking into things that, weren't socially acceptable at the time. So I need to finish this. This is by Michael Shermer. Really enjoy his writing. The other one I need to finish, and this is also by Shermer, is The Moral Arc: How Science and Reason Led Humanity Toward Truth, Justice, and Freedom. Might want to rewrite some of this based on current events, but I am interested to see where he goes with that. So, fun fact, both of these were automatically renewed because apparently no one else is waiting to read nonfiction. But Silver Flames has got to be back like yesterday because the waiting list is insane. I think for the audiobook, there's still like 8 weeks. Oh, Jenny's on her way out of work. Safe drive, Jenny. Woo, Gareth's takeout has arrived. Yum, enjoy. Don't drive, anger issues. Waiting for the bus. It's probably a good thing then, Jenny, you don't drive. So I've talked about my library books. That was one thing I wanted to mention. Did my Celtophile wrap up. I did finish reading The Great Hunt. So that's book 2, A Wheel of Time. I'm almost done Lestat. So Kat and I were just talking, or I was just talking about that, and Kat mentioned. And then I want to get right into Queen of the Damned. And yes, I do have my basket down here, but I'm not supposed to lift heavy things. I laughed when they told me that after as I was leaving. They're like, don't do this after a tooth pulled. And I'm like, I can't lift heavy things on a good day. It's like not an issue today, believe me. I think I have Queen. Did I put Queen in here? No, I did not. But that's for something else I want to talk about. I have finished The Great Hunt. Oh, yes, I do. No, I don't. That's a different one. One of the DNFs. I am so sad. And Kat, this reminds me of the Area 51 book you were talking about. So this is The Sunbird by Wilbur Smith. It's based in Africa. I've read a couple of his other books, really enjoyed it. And this story had so much potential. And if it had ended at the front, and yes, no, again, there is lots of writing in here. Sorry. Well, just little arrows, actually, for things that were important. But what made me sad is he divided this into two different books, basically. So our first part, they're trying to, it's archaeology, which I love, ancient civilizations, which I love. And we have an individual who's, in the desert and they're searching for things, and his friend funds everything along with the place where he works. And we go from there, and they discover things. And of course, it's Africa, and his friend is a douche and a trophy hunter. So I really didn't enjoy that part. I mean, I get hunting for food. Trophy hunting, no thank you. The second half of the book, so we get a conclusion to the first part. The second half of the book jumps way back in time, where this whole story and this civilization started. And our characters, it's like I guess the idea is they've reincarnated. So we've read about what happens to them in the future. And as they discover this site and different things, then we go to the back, or like way back, and the hunting is even more horrific. What they do to other human beings is more horrific, especially with stuff in the news right now. So I'm like, I'm not sure if I'm ever going to finish this book. I mean, I'm almost there. If I do and don't completely DNF it, it's going to be a while, because I just don't have the stomach for it. It had so much potential, and I'm hoping the other Wilbur Smiths that I picked up aren't like this. I know the one Warlock, I'm pretty sure Warlock I've read before, and it won't be, but I don't know about the other ones that I got by him, but this did not bode well, sadly. Those tie in with something else I wanted to mention. Okay, so now I'm going to go to Gareth's book club, the Belief and Behavior book club. Like I say, go check out his video. It's very relaxed. He's got certain books he was going to read, but you can read anything for the topic. So, for example, the first book that Gareth was reading is The Man Who Thought His Wife Was a Hat. I looked at my library here. They have a copy, but the wait list is insane. So I guess everyone decided to read that book this year. So in its place, because it had to do with neurology and thinking, I read Star Trek. Wait, can I see it? Yes. Star Trek on the Brain. I've mentioned that book before. It's written by two psychologists. Would have been an awesome book when I was in college and studying psychology. Would have been a lot more fun than some of the dry textbooks we had. So it's fascinating because these two psychologists tie in human behavior and how the mind works. They have a really great way of describing it, along with the neurons and tendrils and electrical snip snaps and everything else. So they describe first what happens in humans and the behavior and the different parts of the brain. And then they relate it to specific episodes of Star Trek. And they go through different characters. So they use original, Next Generation, Voyager, Deep Space Nine. And the nice thing is they even give you the name of the episode and the season you can find it. So if you're so inclined, you can go watch the episode. And I really enjoyed that. There's a couple actually, though, that I was like, did that really happen that way? So I made note, and I'm going to have to go double check. Yes, Noah, there are colorful writings in that book as well. Because, I'm the book murderer. I live up to my name, dude. So I read that one for the first part of Gareth's book club. I didn't get to the fairy tale reads, but I do have things. Yes, Noah, I do have tabs. Um, and I may or may not get to this one. This is Folk and Fairy Tales, but it's more like a textbook and talks about the different stories and related to culture. So I will get to that eventually, but it may be on hold for a little bit. Okay, I have to find out, why is Noah calling JJ a heathen? I think Voyager was the best Star Wars series ever made. Oh, Jenny, bad girl. I am a Star Wars and Star Trek fan equally, so I'll just laugh at that. And as far as what am I reading next for Gareth's book club, one of the subjects is paganism. I have Drawing Down the Moon by Margot Adler. Yes, this was one of my rebuys. I'd had a copy of it years ago and read it. I really enjoyed her writing. I just figured at the time I'd gotten out of it what I needed. This is about witches, druids, goddess worshippers, and other pagans in America. This is by Penguin, and she really did a great job of going out and talking to people and getting their take on things. So I'm looking forward to reading this over again, and this, of course, ties in with my huge pagan project that will go well into next year, but I'm looking forward to starting this. So that goes into my basket. And that is Gareth's book club and reading. Then it's Horror Mayhem, and there have been announcements I've seen on Gareth's channel. I know Randy Ray has made an announcement. I think Dave and Olive have also made an announcement. And woohoo, I'm always into my horror reads. Hey, William! Imitation, greatest form of flattery. Exactly. And I know you guys are joking in the chat, so I'll let you keep doing that. Now, Horror Mayhem. Woohoo, I have had The Shining. Hey, Helen, welcome. I have had The Shining waiting in my basket for over a month, and Horror Mayhem is the perfect time. I may actually start it early, and then I want to watch the movie again. I read this decades ago, and I love the book. I love the movie with Jack Nicholson. I mean, you can't help remembering that scene. But this is a neat book as well because it ties in with the paranormal and the Stanley Hotel. So it's a perfect match of my interest with the paranormal and reading horror novels. And I do have I think a couple of books that mention the Stanley Hotel, and I hope I'm saying that right. I think it is based on the Stanley Hotel. And Stephen King actually stayed there, which is where I believe he got the idea for The Shining. May or may not be right on that, but I'll have to check that out. And so, yeah, that's one of my Horror Mayhem reads and going in my basket. Another one, because, it's a true story, but it's still horrific. And I read this years ago as well, and it's one that I I may have actually borrowed this from the library. I don't think I ever had a copy of it. The Story of the Andes Survivors Alive, and this is by Piers Paul Reed, and it has to do about a plane crash. I can't remember if it was a soccer team. I certainly know it was some team. Something happened with the plane. They went down, and yeah, they had to do some, unless you were there, other people wouldn't understand types of things. And it definitely is a scary read. So it's nonfiction. It's not technically horror, but some of the things were horrific. So that may be one of my reads. Then I also, and I just got these through my latest book haul, Spooky Tales, 50 Great Horror Stories. And I haven't read this one before. The authors on the back don't sound familiar, but short stories. So those will be fun reads. I also picked up The Other. That was in the book haul. There you go. Now, Constance, is that Alive that you're referring to, the life affirmation? I have, oh, okay, of Alive. Thank you. Yeah, I didn't see the film. I'd read the books a while ago. Believe there was 2 Shining Hotels, one for the book and one for the first film. Okay, thank you, William. Great selection for Horror Mayhem. Thanks, Gareth. I knew what you meant. Constance, life affirming. Yeah, I mean, it's quite the situation. And again, it's unless you're faced with it, you kind of had to be there to understand the choices that they made. And they certainly weren't easy ones by any stretch of the imagination. But yeah, The Other, I'm looking forward to The Other People. And this is by C.J. Tudor. I've never read anything by this author, so I'm really hoping it's going to be a good, scary read. Then another choice, and again, this is a new one, Ghosts of the Silent Hills. This is by Anita Christian. I've not read anything by her. So again, hoping these will be good. I still haven't read Shirley Jackson. Gotta think about, because I know, The House on Haunted Hill. And there's another one, Gareth, you know the author, I Am Legend, Richard Matheson. He has one about Haunted Hill as well. I've read it. I enjoyed his version, and it really sounds a lot like the Shirley Jackson one, but they're two different stories, and there might be a word or so difference in the titles. But so those are my Horror Mayhem reads. Okay, his is Hell House. There we go. See, I knew you'd know it, Gareth. Thank you. Noah, the Shining movie, only saw it once, few years ago. Nightmare about the devil. I'll pass on that movie. It's very good, though. Yeah, I mean, Jack Nicholson plays crazy very, very well. And see, I can't read I Am Legend, and I haven't seen the movie, and we go back to that whole dog issue, because I know there's one and doesn't go well. Really isn't. Try to type, wants to be. Yeah, this is about autocorrect. And yeah, I've seen that so many times. He wrote the screenplay for the Shirley Jackson adaptation. Awesome. Good to know. Jackson, Haunting of Hill House. Thank you. Yeah, Doggy didn't make it. Nope. Nope, he did not. And yes, Gareth did explain. Oh, here he is. Dog plays important role, totally different to the Will Smith movie. Yeah, I haven't seen Vincent Price, which is classic. Love me, Vincent Price, and the voice for horror movies. But I didn't watch all of that movie, and I'm not watching anything by Will Smith. I mean, no, just no. When you're okay with doing something like that in front of thousands of people and you have no consequences for your behavior, it explains a lot of the other BS that is currently happening with no consequences. Don't think Teresa Dog and the Vincent Price are. Oh, there's a Charlton Heston. I did not know. I see Charlton Heston. I just know from Moses, the Ten Commandments. But yeah, so with I Am Legend, and yeah, actually, Gareth, there's something that's making me chuckle because was it in your movie? Yes, it was in your movie. Movie. There you go. Now, not only are you an author, you're an actor. Omega Man. Okay, see, I haven't seen that one. But yeah, in your movie, you're talking, I said it again. In your video, your trip, you're talking about the island where people were sent. And I don't know if it was nervous laughter or what. And I'm like, dude, you called me a psychopath on my own live stream when I was talking about, no, it didn't bug me with Mr. Mercedes. People got plowed down, but I had to read the last chapter to make sure the dog was okay. And I'm sorry, I just can't help it. I don't know, maybe it's the news and everything. There's so much stuff with humans all the time. And it's not that I don't care, though. It's just, yeah, I don't know. We can all handle reading different things at different times, and it impacts us. But see, Jen and I were just talking about this Monday for her birthday live stream, and Literary Love 123. Jen just turned 50, and it was so much fun being on the stream with her and met amazing people and found a number of other small YouTubers during that. And she was talking about Cujo because she's had this great idea to celebrate her 50th birthday. She's doing 5 videos, 10 movies each, talking about the books that have shaped her life. And she was talking about Cujo, and it's been a long time since I've read that. And I mean, I read Old Yeller as a kid. That story just broke my heart. But I find the older I get, the more difficulty I have reading that kind of stuff. It just messes me off. Yeah, messes me up. I just was reading off at the same time, off all the people, unless it's like grandma character, I'm fine. Yep, same cat. Constance is saying, agree about Will Smith, wasn't a fan before. Posing about, yep, White Hollywood, could afford, fund dozens. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Dog came out okay in my recent book. That's a good thing. It's a great birthday project. Cujo is a great book. I can't read it again, though. Been there once, got through it once. I agree. It's a good book. I read it a long time ago, and nope, can't do that one again. It just, no, it would mess me up. And especially because, like Jen was saying, and I'd forgotten that part of it's from the dog's point of view, and I'm like, oh no, I would be a mess. A mess. So yes, those are my horror mayhem books, talked about Gareth's book reads. Fridays. Normally I do my grim fairy tale readings, and some of them are grim. But I thought since it's more horror mayhem, I would do Stephen King Night Shift short stories. So I'm going to pick a few of the short stories and give those a read on Fridays. And of course, there will be commentaries and other things. Don't know if there'll be some of like the smart ass remarks I do when I do my grim fairy tales, but we'll see how that goes. And then Grim Fairy Tales will be back in June on Fridays. So we have that covered. My studies are totally off the rail. Nothing is on track at the moment. I have, let's see, I can reach it here. This is so handy. So as far as my Bible studies, I at least have all the books tabbed, but I have yet to read Genesis, so I haven't quite got there yet. But I do have my journal and other things planned to read. I did, yay me, read month 1 for Witch Alone. That's my big pagan project. This is 13 months. Well, the way I'm going, it's going to be 14 or 15 months. But I still need to do the activities because at the end of each month, there are things to do, not dance around a fire, stuff like that. This is month 1 is about researching where you live, learn about the land, learn about fairy tales. So that book also ties in with this. And then she has other books that she recommends you read. So there's a lot of really interesting things to do with this. So I've got to get on track with that. Then The Artist's Way, I need to edit the video. I have the introduction in week 1 recorded. If you're not familiar with The Artist's Way, this is written by Julia Cameron, and it doesn't matter whether you're an author, a painter, a musician, or none of the above. This has been used in a variety of different places. It just helps you look at yourself, think about yourself, and just really respect and regard yourself. It's 12 weeks, and part of the reason for that is, yes, Julia Cameron is an alcoholic, and it was Alcoholics Anonymous that helped her get on track. She's also a well-known writer. She's done screenplays and so many other things. But so her books are in 12 weeks, like the 12-step program. So I will be talking about each week because she's got some amazing points. This will be my 3rd time working through this. Every time I go through it, every time I go through it, I get something new from it. And this was one of the programs that made a massive difference for me after my back injury, and I needed to get back on track. And positive energy, I've talked about in a video, and I'll do an update maybe in another month or so. I'm enjoying this one, but a lot of it is refresher stuff for me because I've done so many of these different programs and work over the decades that it's just kind of cool to focus on that. Catch up with chat. Night Shift was one of the first books you've read. Wow, that's cool. Features one of the favorite, Quitters Inc. Yeah. And it's funny, when I did my video of Night Shift, because I had read it years ago, and that's when I was into reading different short stories. So I read Night Shift, and there were, I think, a bunch of collections, either Alfred Hitchcock or Asimov. I used to love reading a lot of those. And Quitters Inc., I remembered after all these years. There was two other stories, and I'd have to look at the titles right now, but I know when I did my video on Night Shift, I mentioned there were a couple that I remembered. And it's funny, and out of Skeleton Crew, The Mist, I remembered as well, partly because when I was reading it, and I grew up out in the country, there was fog that came in for a few days, and it's like, oh, crap. It just totally freaked me out. If you plan to read Cujo, stay away from King's recent short story collection. Ah, there you go. Spoilers. So thank you for sharing that. Constance, Stephen King, short seems like an oxymoron. Not wrong, but I like them. Yeah, see, I liked his collection of If It Bleeds. That was a good short story collection, and I really do like the character of Holly. Tried King a few times, long-winded, mean to the dogs. Sorry. Got a couple, hesitant to try. Yeah, some of it, see, with Salem's Lot, there's the one scene with the dog, but it's one scene. And I think I just keep blocking it because I focus more on Barlow, and there's so many people in the town and other things going on. But yeah, you gotta be careful. Try Shawshank Redemption, no dogs, and it's not very long. There you go. Green Mile, and I think that is that one of his Bachman books, I think. I haven't seen, have I seen the movie? I may have seen part of it, I'm thinking. Keep an eye out. Liking the movie for Langoliers. Yeah, see, I still need to read Langoliers. That's why I bought Four Past Midnight. I found it at the thrift store for hardback, $5. So excited. But I haven't read that yet. Love Holly. Can't wait for this new one, which is a Holly book. Yeah, I still haven't read The Outsiders, and I think Holly features in that. I could be wrong. And I haven't read the book Holly. I did have it from the library, but then I had a ton of other stuff, so I ended up sending it back without reading it. And I'll have to see, because yeah, with King, I'm like uber careful what I decide to read. Now, speaking of reading, the other thing, and I'm so excited, I still need to do my review for Obsidian Murders, but Nicole, bless her heart, has given me permission to read some of the book. So 1 week, I'm going to be reading a few chapters, just a bit of a teaser. And then the next week, I will be putting up a review. Also, and yes, Gareth, it is in my basket. Gareth, bless his heart, has given me permission to read from the Brown Yelp Gang. So I am going to be doing the same. I'm going to read a little bit from the beginning as a teaser, and I'll be doing the review after that. And then Gareth and I will be chatting about the Brown Yelp Gang, the 10 Stories of Transformation, and I will be picking one from that book as well and reading it. So many thanks to the authors for giving me that permission. I had considered asking Margaret to read for the Keening, but I don't have, hey, Ven's ears were burning. I don't have Ven's amazing voice and accent to read the keening. And I think for Margaret's work, because it's based in Scotland and the accents, I'm not sure I could do reading that justice. So I'll see. I'll talk to Margaret about it. But so that's nice. That I have that coming up. Okay, so Holly is Outsiders. Yeah, see, I hear there's a lot of animal death in there, so I've been avoiding it. I get squeamish. So those are that's my exciting author news. Okay, I've talked about my pile of horror mayhem. Oh, but speaking of Margaret, and she's influenced some of my reads because, well, I was just saying, Ven, that your voice is much better to read Margaret's The Keening because your accent, it works better than, say, maybe me trying to read it. So that's why I said your ears were burning, because just as I was starting to say it, you had popped back into the live stream. Just fake a Scottish accent, pretend you're Gimli. I can't do it. It wouldn't work. But yes, Margaret is also with climatology, and I've got a number of books that I want to read relating to that because it's very important to me as well. I've got The Hidden Life of Trees, What They Feel, How They Communicate, and Discoveries from a Secret World. I'm going to need another basket because I have a lot planned for this month. The Secret World of Weather, well, this month and next month. How to Read Signs in Every Cloud, Breeze, Hill, Street, Plant, Animal, and Dewdrop. This is by Tristan Gooley, and I love this cover because it's soft. So I have those nature reads that I want to do. I want to reread Earth Acupuncture, Healing the Living Landscape. This is by Gail Reichstein, Rex. It was there we go. It was a fascinating read, and she talks about an area in New York where she'd gone and done some work with permission, because again, you shouldn't be messing around with certain things. Sadly, she has passed away. She had Lyme disease, and I think there were some other complications, but it was a really fascinating work, and she's showing here acupuncture points and how is it the Hudson along New York? I know it starts with an H, and she connects it to the shape of an arm, and that's how she worked out the points, and she worked with a shaman and some other people as well. So I want to read that again. And here is my second DNF. And not DNF in a bad way. It's just, again, because I've read so many things, and part of it's because of my personal beliefs in nature work. So this is The Healing Magic of Forest Bathing. And this is by Julia Plevin. And I wish I was smart and would just write a book and come up with something and make money at it, because she's talking about going out in the forest, connecting with the earth, and different activities and things. And I do that with my yard work. I call it earthing. Other people call it earthing. Other people call it gardening. But it's the getting connected and grounded literally by putting your hands in the earth and doing yard work, working with the plants, and whether it's planting or weeding or just, sitting on the grass. So really a lot of what I started reading in this, I already do. So, I've got a few things tabbed. I'll make notes, but then I think I'm going to pass it on to another friend of mine who is also into this type of stuff, and she may enjoy it. All right, what are my little gremlins up to? I see something about D&D. D&D that I decided was my blood enemy. That's why he doesn't run games with me anymore. Uh-oh, those two are up to something. Like the feel of coffee table books. Yeah, glossy coating. There are some nice ones, William, for sure. Love your voice. Shut up. That must be, I'm guessing, to Ven. Gee, what happened to just the little shush? Now we're getting like right out ornery. Still waiting for... Okay, I'm running one soon. This is D&D. Still waiting for you to suggest dates. Oh yeah, dates? What? Have people know? Dinner and a movie, book shopping, picking up pound puppies, all good dates. Cat. So yeah, so I had my two. Well, the forest one is a DNF. Wilbur, I don't know, but Wilbur's going on another shelf for a bit. He's out of the basket. He's been kicked out of the basket. I will also have to move my Celtophile ones. Ah, yes. And you can't have horror without H.P. Lovecraft. Now, I've read this one, and I think I will read it again. And Noah, since I know you're still here, looky what I did to the front of my book. So it's so much easier to remember what the stories were about. And oddly enough, I don't have any. Oh, wait. Nope. I have like little arrow things in that, but yep. Cheater notes in the front, so I know what they are. It makes you feel better. No, I did it to the Wheel of Time too, but I can't show those because it'd be a spoiler for some people. But I haven't read this one yet, and I picked it up several book hauls ago. The Dream World of H.P. Lovecraft, His Life, His Demons, His Universe. So I think that would be interesting. I did watch a biography about him on Prime, and that's what got me to read the compendiums. So he is very interesting. I still need to finish a ton of books from 2024. One of them is Moonchild by Aleister Crowley. I'm halfway. You know, considering the reputation he has, it really isn't a bad book. I mean, it's got magic and stuff, but it's good. It's not, gnarly stuff. Well, okay. If you like spicy, you wouldn't call it gnarly, but I don't like reading spicy stuff. And there's really no spicy in Aleister. I mean, his book is way tamer than Sarah J. Maas. I just need to finish it. So that stays in the basket. I've already, here we go. Queen of the Damned. Just a sec. Dry tickle. I want to read this as soon as I finish Lestat because the movie is named Queen of the Damned, but most of the stuff from the movie is out of the vampire Lestat. Doesn't make sense to me. So now I need to read this and find out why did they call the movie Queen of the Damned instead of the vampire Lestat. So I've got that to read. I need to start The Dragon Reborn, and I might watch season 1 of the Prime series after I finish this, but it's so different from the books. I'm worried about watching the series and then getting all discombobulated with the characters. Thanks for popping by, Constance. It's been lovely having you hang out and chat with us as well. But yeah, so I'll have to figure out whether I'm going to get farther in or... Oh, here we go. Read about some massive changes at the end of season 3. Yeah, and I mean, there are change, like right in episode 1, it doesn't mesh with the book in terms of Perrin and his relationship. So I don't know. I'll have to decide, even though I know Shelf Esteem, a booktuber, has done the music for, I believe, season 2, and I just saw one of his titles that his song was played in season 3. So, I mean, that's kind of cool, but I want to wait and see. Some of the stuff they got from yeah, Marius wasn't his maker. It's right, it was Magnus. And yeah, I'm still, and this will come up in our discussion, and I know we'll also have Stuart and Alan. But what I find interesting is Marius is Armand's maker, but he doesn't go back to save Armand or tell him about any of this stuff. And he just leaves Armand to his own devices. But yet he tells Lestat everything. Like, what? Why? Hey, Nicole! Well, maybe. We'll see. It's cute. I was mentioning about you giving me permission to read Obsidian Murders, and that I'll be doing that in a bit, and then my review. So I'm just looking around and see what I can fit in my little basket here, and I've talked about that. Ah, yes. So there's just 2 more that I wanted to mention. Yes, if you've seen Tiki and me trying to get things organized on my Da Vinci spiral shelf, and yes, Kat, there is more than 78, like 100 and some insane number, and that's just my personal library. Those aren't any additional books. But I figure first I'm going to read Angels and Demons, because this is where we meet Robert Langdon. I will admit, Robert Langdon is not my favorite character. He's good with knowing what these symbols are. He may be, I think it's Harvard educated, but the guy is not survival educated. And if not for the women in these books, he'd have died. And there's also a third book, I think it's called, yes, Origin, which I found at the thrift store. So I'm going to start reading those. And part of the reason for that is the beefcake tag. Ah, thanks. Noah, yes. Please make sure you hit that like a button. Marius, kind of the worst, makes me, yeah. He's, I don't know, a different character. I'll, Nicole. Oh no, not Anne Rice's Lestat. Well, I don't know, Nicole. Right on the front of the book here, it says, surrender to fiction's greatest creature of the night. I don't know. Lestat really irritates me for most of the series. I can't lie. These just. But another book that I want to get to is The Afterlife Experiments. Breakthrough scientific evidence of life after death. I'm curious. This is by Gary E. Schwartz. Foreword by Deepak Chopra. We'll see. I'm not a Deepak fan. Oh, and this is with William L. Simon. Now, it always cracks me up when I see this scientific evidence, and I still need to make that video 2 years later, because I have one book that's called The Afterlife, scientific proof that the paranormal is real, and then I have paranormality. Scientific proof that the paranormal is not real. You can't have it both ways. Pick one. So I will be doing a video about a comparison with those two books. May have to read this and throw it in with that as well, or leave that to do a comparison with something else. Okay, I've talked about all of these books. So the only thing I wanted to finish covering, because this is kind of my reading wrap up, where are things at? The beefcake tag. Well, I've mentioned my study Bible is way behind, and that I knew I wasn't going to finish this year anyhow. Like, that's a 2 to 3 year project. Wheel of Time, book 1, so I have finished that. Dune, which is still waiting. I've been wanting to read that for 2 years. It just never seems to come into the mix. Da Vinci Code, so after I finish Angels and Demons, Da Vinci will be done well before the end of the year. Book of Signs, I am very curious. It's supposed to be about all these signs and prophecy, what have you. Is Noah leaving us? Oh, okay. Night, night, Noah. Thanks for joining. Take care. And yes, I agree, William. Proof, evidence, and science thrown around too liberally. I very much agree. And I have seen Nicole and Kat have made a comment about the series. Oh, okay. Had to stop after 3 books, so that would be Queen of the Damned. Body Thief actually wasn't too bad. Louise Winey, Maris Manipulative, depending which edition you get. Armand, yeah, Pandora was my favorite. We'll have to wait and see till I get to Pandora. Tale of the Body Thief, I didn't mind. I just read it, and I haven't read Memnoch yet, so that's going to be a first time read for me. Oh, see, they got something going on at 1 tomorrow. But yeah, so Book of Signs, I was going to wait until I finished Dawkins, The God Delusion. Dawkins, I mean. And I put that book to the side. It isn't flowing or working for me. So I may start Book of Signs long before I finish the other one. Ghosts by Hans Holzer, I knew I wouldn't finish this year because that's a big honker. Oddly enough, even though it's massive, it's smaller than Silver Flames in terms of page count. It's 500 and something. But I'm going to pull different information from that and do ghost story readings. Gods of the New Millennium has been waiting to be finished since 2023, I think. And that one's just taking a while because I want to do notes. That's by Alan Alford. He researched his work for 10 years, and his book is based on the 6 Earth Chronicles by Zachariah Sitchin. That Zachariah researched for 30 years. And then Alford went, no, this is what I think. And they're both have to do with the Bible and pulling information from there and the Anunnaki and another planet. It's part of the reason the Bible studies, because this is all going to interconnect. Fingerprints of the Gods is by Graham Hancock, as is Magicians. I think it's called Magicians of the Gods. It's in the other room. Now, I'll be honest. Hancock, to me, is arrogant. He's full of himself, but it doesn't mean that there isn't some value to reading him and pulling out what makes sense and connecting it in with the other authors that I've read. So I need to get to those, but in order to do that, I have to read Angels, Da Vinci, and then get to those two because I want to do it somewhat in order. And then Drawing Down the Moon, which I've already mentioned, and that's one of the beefcake books. So I've got a few of my beefcakes coming. I just have other things to get to. So I'm really hoping that between the end of this month and through all of May, I finally get caught up on my reading. And I'm just checking all oh, the one thing I didn't mention, I also need to finish The Last Breath Before You Die. That I have as an ebook that was sent to me by the author, and I need to finish that so that I can do the review. Then I can go on to Danu's Curse, which I also have as an ebook. Thank you so much, Nicole, for sending that along. And yeah, I've got a lot. And I know I can get there. I just need to prioritize. Maybe if we have more sun and things, that will help. As far as videos, yes, I'm hoping, well, we'll see. I'm hoping that I have my belly dance dragon video up on Tuesday because I just need to record it. I have the books. I just need to get my space, figure out the little moves, and get it done. Finishing up, and the title, yes, is going to be Akatar or Itar because, it could go either way. But I will say, there are a lot of good things to the series. There's just some things that made me want to blow my ponytail off. I can't lie. And part of it is, for me, spicy reads are just not something I enjoy. I mean, if it's something you enjoy and it helps you relax and helps you chill, then that's great. I mean, you'll love Akatar. It's just not my type of read. But I'm not sorry that I read them. I mean, I really, and like I say, Silver Flames I liked. I like the character of Nesta mainly because of, and especially in that last book, we find out so much more about her. Can't lie, don't like Feyre. Nope. She just is no. Just no. And I'll explain in the video. I just need to figure out how to do it, whether I do, because I don't want it to be hours long, and it's not going to be a rant video. Like, I know there's that one channel, and she had, 5 hours about Fourth Wing? I mean, I didn't enjoy Fourth Wing, but I couldn't talk and rant 5 hours about it. And I think, in all fairness, there's a lot of interesting things. Thanks, Gareth. We'll all see you soon. Thanks for popping by, and I hope you enjoyed your takeout. But there are some good things in terms of the characters and the story, and there were some things that were just meh. But again, everyone's got a different opinion. But if I'm going to do a review, then I like to have at least a balanced viewpoint, because just because the story didn't work for me doesn't mean it isn't going to work for other people. And there might be some things that they find of interest. I mean, Nicole, if you're still here, I thought it was interesting to hear your review of The Hunger Games. And yes, I do have Mockingjay here. And I listened to the first 2 books as audio, partly because I had the series. And when I was leaving the one high school, I sold off a bunch of my books. And so my students bought them, and The Hunger Games was one of the series I sold. But then I decided, well, maybe I'll, give it a try. And I have to admit, Divergent by Veronica Roth, I enjoyed that series. I watched the movies before I read the books, and I'll be honest, part of the reason I did it in that order is the books were big, and I'm like, do I really want to read a big book compared to who do I have here? Compared to a dinky Lovecraft compendium or H.G. Wells or some of Jules Verne's. And these books are all like big honkers now. But what I realized when I read the series is they're big books, but they're also big print. So they were easy to knock off. Hunger Games, I think part of it for me is we had a guest speaker, and that, again, I was still working at the schools then, and she was talking about the concept of kids hunting kids and how that was the premise, a big part of this story. And I was like, yes, that 'tis bothersome indeed. So I think that's a little bit, and I haven't seen the movies, but I did hear the stories, and I didn't mind it so much. But yeah, there's that whole kids hunting kids. But then, I mean, you look at any of the books, and there's so many different things that if it was something that made us all, for example, Akatar, it is not necessarily my favorite thing. But that doesn't mean I think they should not be out there for other people who enjoy that type of a read. That, like I say, it maybe didn't work for me, but other people love it. I mean, here we are, 10 years later. I can't remember. I don't have Silver Flames near me. It's like a few years ago, but people are still talking about this 10 years later. And like I say, the wait list for any of the books in the series is crazy. So I think it's important to respect that maybe it doesn't work for you, but it could be awesome for somebody else. Nicole, I think you have to focus on more. So the why and how with Hunger Games. Yeah, and I'm thinking, I've said I didn't read Shirley Jackson, but I do remember reading a short story called The Lottery, and I think it's the same person. We did it in an English class, and it had to do with drawing names, and it's been a long time since I've read it, but it was one of those, we've always done it this way, so we're going to keep going that way. Don't get me started. Big books, silver and book measuring contests. Ooh, 2000. Now, was that the Urantia book, William? Okay, yep. So Shirley Jackson is The Lottery. Yeah, it's been a while. And I do want to read that again. And I do want to find a copy of The Lottery. Okay, talk about there we go. I would be totally game with that. We could do a virtual tea, or we could do a live stream and see what other people think. And yes, I do remember you talking about the Urantia book in another live chat, William. It's a book I'm fascinated to read and interested in reading. I've just never found a copy of it, but I know that comes up with Timothy Wiley in his Return of the Rebel Angels and The Watchers, which I need to reread. And yeah, want to read the new Hunger Games book. Stuart Griffin. Stuart, I think it was Stuart who just had it might have been on his weekly wrap up, is talking about the newest game, and it's from the perspective, or it may, no, not the perspective, but it tells you more about the one individual. Read all the Hunger Games, but okay. Sunrise on the Reapings review will be out soon. So Nicole, you then will know. There's one about, is it snakes or something? Oh, Hamish. Okay, that would be interesting. First person point of view. Now, he would be an interesting one to learn about. Stuart, the book he was talking about was someone from, it wasn't called The City, whoever had set up the games. And the book that Stuart was talking about had to do with that. There we go. See, thank you. Ballad of, oh, hi, Livist. So we have two who know the name. Ballad of Songs and Snakes. Wonder if we'll ever get Megs or the very first games. Curious to know. Not sure. But yeah, and so those books are different. I haven't read either of them yet. And like I say, it was a couple years ago that I read the first two, or listened to the first two, which at the time I didn't know how to speed up. So thank you for teaching me that, Jenny, because audio, my mind's gone. I can't focus and pay attention. Sometimes speeding it up helps, but I'm definitely a book in hand. It's a great one. People didn't like it because it's about snow. Somehow thought Suzanne Collins trying to make him out to be a bad boy. Ah, okay. What book did y'all read? Well, I've read the first three. And yeah, what got me with my library, which is why I have Mockingjay, is my library had the first two as audio, but they didn't have Mockingjay as audio. They had it as a CD. I'm like, are you kidding me? And then it was funny because, so yeah, it had to be the start of 2024. They had a ton, and I think they had the whole series actually at the thrift store. And I'm like, no, I'll wait to get the CD, whatever. And then I was into the banned book project, which these are in. And then I tried to find Mockingjay, and it took me forever to find it at the thrift store because I think it was just after whichever one has just been released, whether it's the Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes or another one. And so then, of course, everybody was snapping everything up at the thrift store. So I have this one. I may hang on to it because I do want to do a bit of a comparison between this series and Divergent and our characters Katniss and Beatrice. Have to immersive read. Can't do anything else whilst listening, or I start to zone out. Yeah, exactly. And it's funny, Jenny, because I was saying, I think on my 3-year stream, when I worked in schools, I worked with assistive technology, helping support students who were resistant and struggling readers. And I say resistant because they could read, they just didn't want. They literally didn't want to. They hated it. They didn't enjoy it. It was so difficult. So they were resisting getting into things, partly because it wasn't stuff they were interested in. But we used a program called Kurzweil. And the neat thing with that program is it would read the text while the text was going along, and it would highlight the words so they could get it by sound and visually, which was amazing. But they were so resistant because to the kids, it seemed like, well, other people don't have to do this, so why do I. But what I loved with that program is you could set the speed, and not like the library or Libby apps that, so many times you could literally do it to, was it like 120 words per minute to much higher. And I found that so helpful in getting to know my students. Hey, Luna, because you could see what speed the students were listening at, and it was such a good clue on how to speak to them, because if they needed the speed slower, it meant no wonder they were getting frustrated in their classes, because people were talking too fast and they weren't hearing the whole instructions. Whereas there were other kids who would crank the speed up, and not up to sometimes Chipmunk, because it was hilarious, but they would crank the speed up. And those were the kids who, people were just talking too slow. So they would get antsy and frustrated because they were waiting for people to talk faster. So it was a really helpful tool in terms of knowing what people needed. And it helped me because I used to set up the work and the worksheets and everything. And I learned a lot about that as well. And I found out, I'm one of the people who cranks up the speed because I need to hear it faster for it to grab my attention. So that was a cool thing. And, I don't know what they do in schools now. They've got different software. Some of it's Google, and they use that to dictate answers. And, so many of these programs read now, but again, they don't necessarily have the speed. The voices are much better than they were 15 some odd years ago. And that was part of the issue too. And I can't blame my students for that, is, it did sound like a clunky, funny computer voice. Now they're kind of creepy and sound more human than computer. You kind of can't tell the difference. But I find it fascinating. A lot of people are talking about the immersive reading of listening to the book while they're holding it. I prefer just book in hand and reading it. It's funny. It's probably the one activity that I do without music in the background. I just, if I'm reading, then I don't have the stereo going. Hey, Panther. You gonna say hi? Are you gonna say hi? I'm gonna go, nope. Mommy's talking to strangers. But it's one of the few activities where I don't have music rocking and rolling. And if I'm trying to organize or do other things, I will. But my reading, I typically do quiet, partly because I don't necessarily read out loud, but my lips move when I'm reading, and that's how I read faster. If I don't have my lips moving, I typically read a bit slower. And I have no idea why. It's just one of my little quirks. And I don't always have I don't have a bookmarker but I will quite often trace with my finger. Yeah, I do talk to myself. Well, hey, I'm home on my own, so And the cats meow and that, but they're not big on conversation most of the time. And so I agree, Loomis, sometimes it can be distracting. Like, I love music for background sound for when I'm doing anything else. If I'm doing editing, especially if I'm trying to organize, and here's the funny thing, if I'm doing notes on a book, then I've got background music. I can't do notes in silence. I get off the rails way too easily. But if I'm reading, and I think part of it might be because for me, I'm also visual. So while I'm reading, I've got a little movie playing in my head, which is the book and what I'm reading. So to have that music going gets way too distracting. So I just have to have like silent time. But that, I think, is a wrap up of what I've been reading and what I've got coming up for reads. I've got a pretty ambitious amount of books considering my reading's been slow. So I'm really hoping that I can get caught up on things. So Luna, I speak more slowly in English than in Norway, and that makes sense because Norwegian's your first language. Yep, that makes perfect sense, Luna. Envisioning the story in our heads, a little too much. Yep, absolutely agree. Hate silence in general, always have to have something on. Yeah, for me, it really depends on the day. Sometimes I'm okay with it, but I like having music and rocking on. Love ambition. Allows me to hear what's in my head. That's just dangerous. Yeah, I think that's why I like the music as well, is because if I don't have the music going, then the thoughts start going and it can get a bit much some days, especially with some of the other stuff. Love listening to music while reading. Yeah, see, everyone's got their own way of doing things, which is great. And I think that's the important thing too, is finding what works. Simon and Garfunkel. Hello, Silence, my old friend. Love Simon and Garfunkel. Need noise, lyrics, and fast. Best, I'm gonna end up dancing. One of my favorite reading cafes, chatter and music. There you go. Yeah, and see, when I go anywhere for appointments, and sometimes when I'd go out for lunch and it was just me, I would always have a book with me. So I'll read anywhere, but when I'm reading at home, I don't. Yep, monkey mind. Indeed. Loads of playlists, none have singing. Couple even inspire me to write. But then I go, nope, I'm not a good writer. You got to practice. Yeah, I agree. You can do it, Jenny. I mean, the more you practice, and hey, just write it for yourself. Like no one else has to see it. I have a variety of playlists. I listen to rock and roll, new age, all kinds of different stuff. And I find the music, it depends on how I'm feeling that day and what I want to try and do. Like if I'm organizing or stuff like that, then I want my Eagles or Moody Blues reasonably loud because, I have a house. I don't have to worry about the neighbors, but I do have cats and, I don't want them agitated. So thankfully they like my musical choices. And there you go. First draft always sucks. Just write for yourself. I agree. Same as a YouTube video, right? The first few are like, oh my God, did I really put that up? But you keep going and it keeps improving. Training to control your thoughts. Meditation. Yeah, I don't do my meditation is yard work. I can't do the lay and close the eyes. My mind just goes. But if I'm doing yard work, I'm like in the zone. Headphones in, belt along, sucks for those hearing distance. Yeah, my hubby reminds me sometimes that I apparently sing along if I've got the headphones on. Whoopsie doodle. It's a problem too unless you're at home. Usually at home. Go to work home. Get to go to other places. Try do one story. Yeah, I think it's great. You should give it a try, Jenny. I actually had a viewer comment on, I think it was one of my posts, and she's just getting into reading, and there's some reasons she hasn't been, but her sister And it was so cute. She's like, my sister's not a writer, but she's trying her first book. And so she's sending her sister chapters, which is what's got her sister back into reading. So I'm like, I think that's awesome. Lord, lightning sounds sucks, so I keep going. Hey, and that's it, right? And as long as we're happy and oh, there you go. Luna meditates every day. Start thinking thoughts. Like everything else, you have to practice. I agree. See, I do my journaling, and I found that since I've actually been using my keyboard warrior journal, it's been getting better. I'm not as tempted to make a video and just blah about some of the crap in the world, because I don't want to make those videos. There's like way too much of that stuff out there. Threaten to sing, believe I can fly if he refuses to brush my hair when I want to. It's hilarious. Mindfulness meditation, letting things be without fighting or judging. Yeah, that's so hard. 100% worth it, lifelong process. I agree. And some days are so much better than other or easier than others. Don't actively try to train for anything. Just let yourself and your mind be. Yeah, that's excellent. Definitely way better after years of mindfulness. And that's it. I mean, we're all a work in progress. We're all doing the best we can. We all have different strategies and ways of doing things and reaching where we want to be. I think the important thing is to just appreciate and accept everyone as human beings and no other designation. We're all human beings. No matter what country we're from, no matter what anything else, we're all human beings. Play nice. Don't know why that's so hard for some people, but it is. Meditation, currently doing a meditation mindfulness teacher training. Sweet. Congratulations, Luna. That's exciting. Mine says mean things when I let it be. Tells me to do mean things. I have to remind myself not worth the evidence or effort to hide the evidence. See, and there you go. And, then there's karma. Are they worth karma? Of course, then I have my sarcastic little plaque in the living room of karma means I don't have to feel bad treating I won't get it right, but the gist is karma means I don't have to feel guilty because here we go. Karma means I don't have to feel guilty because the people I treated badly had it coming. It's all about perspective, right? I go the other way though, and I agree. There's people that they're not worth the karma, and they'll undo themselves far worse than anything most other people would do to them. It just seems to take a long time. And the other part is you really don't know what people are doing off camera, out of sight. All the rest of it is, it may look all hunky-dory, especially on social media, and then you find out it's not hunky-dory at all. Nicole, intrusive thoughts with OCD, don't want to be in my mind. It's just funny at this point. Actions matter and are in your control. Exactly. And I mean, that's the other thing is it's one thing to have a thought and play it out and all the rest of it. It's another thing to act on that thought, which is the massive difference. I mean, we all have, either monkey mind or negative thoughts or bad days. And that's all part of being human. And then the rest of it is, figuring things out. And what do you do with those thoughts? Do you journal them out? Do you meditate? Do you write stories like Stephen King and, get that out on the page? There's just so many different ways to do it. And there's also so many ways to uplift and inspire and, be a light. And that's why I say there's stuff that's really, really making me angry at the moment, but I don't want to make a video about it because there's just too much there. And me making a video isn't going to change any of that stuff. So I'd rather focus on other things. Luna says, the more I learn about your childhood, life affects you, more I feel compassion for bad people, very likely to have some sort of trauma. And they absolutely do, Luna. I know Nicole and I think during it might have been part of our live stream, but I know it was afterwards. And some of the people I used to work with before I went to schools, work in the schools, and it doesn't excuse their behavior by any stretch, but some of the things that these people went through as children by their parents or family is just horrific. I mean, there's a reason that social workers and others burn out. There's a reason that they say if you're a psychiatrist or psychologist, you should have a therapist because the stuff that comes into those offices is just bleh. Me at myself today, did you really just give me an adrenaline dump for simply calling someone on the phone? Gotta chill. Got deep in that stream. Yeah, we did actually. It was an amazing one. Real fast, just kept going. Important to talk, even if it's hard. And I agree. And I mean, the plan at first was to keep it light, but you know what? We had an amazing conversation. Viewers were interacting, and it, yeah, makes such a difference. It was a great stream. I'm looking forward to when we do our next one. Yep, no excuse. And that's it. I mean, the stories are some of, and I can see the faces of some of my clients now, and I remember some of the stories. But again, it doesn't excuse the behavior. And the important thing is if they're willing to work on it, and, they didn't become, some of them weren't born monsters, they were turned into them. But you still have to work and make the effort, and it takes a long, long time. Some are willing to work and try, some not so much. It's where they're at. It's unfortunate, but not sure I trust folks didn't have a messed up childhood. Some point yeah, mommy was mean isn't an excuse to be a trash adult. Yeah, explaining shitty behavior doesn't excuse. Exactly. And, there's work, there has to be work, there has to be effort. You have to be able to honestly name the behavior and be interested in changing it. And I was just, with cats. I mean, some of my students in high school would get furious with me because they, oh, this, mom this or dad this or boyfriend or whatever was in the house, whatever. And I'm like, okay, when you were little, I get that. And you need to deal with the circumstances, but you can't keep saying it's someone else's fault, and that isn't that some of those situations were still continuing. Things had improved, and it's like you can't keep saying, no, it's them, no, it's them. Like, what do you need help with? Do you need to see a counselor? Do you need some other kind of support? Because to just keep saying it isn't going to improve it. It's important to know someone becomes the person they are so we can learn not to become a bad person. Learning and experience. Exactly. villain origin stories are the best. Well, yeah, in some ways, but yep, and they're flat out addictive. As long as you don't put, well, for me, because some of those stories are great, but to me, they're not all stories. They're memories of people who I've worked with. And yeah, I don't know. Maybe that's why Mr. Mercedes and Finders Keepers bothered me as much as it did. Is, yeah, it just, different things happening there for sure. But hey, I'm noticing it's 5:45, which means I have to go eat some dinner before we all hop over to go visit Dave and Gareth and Alan over at, I'm not sure whose week it is, if it's Dave's week at Book Blather or Gareth's week at Book Songs and Other Magic. So I'm going to say, well, thank you so much, everyone, for listening to me babble on and yeah, wow, awesome. We've had a nice group, and I love how everyone interacts in the chats. Okay, awesome. Kat is just letting me know that it's over on Dave's channel, so Book Blather. Luna is heading off to bed. Good night, Luna, in Norway. Oh, and Luna, I hope you did get a few views. I posted in my community about your trip to Ireland, so hopefully had a few people go over and see that. And yeah, thank you so much, everybody. That is all my books. We'll see what my wrap up is like at the end of May. And yes, I am still giggling because I'm currently at 202 unsubs. The goal is 250 to make that video. When I was answering comments today, I was at 430 subs. So I need 70 to hit 500 to make that video. So I'm figuring it's going to be the 250 unsub video first, but who knows what the universe will do. Anyhow, everybody, thank you so much for joining me. I appreciate it. I love all the love in the comments, everyone interacting and being welcoming. Sending you all much love, big hugs. I'll see some of you over at Dave's. If not, see you in the comments. See you on your channels. Thanks so much for joining me. Much appreciated. Take care.